Hey, everybody. I'm Daniel.
I'm Julia.
And let's do this thing. All right, where were we this time?
So, we are staying in Bangor.
And we talked about Bangor
where
last
time.
We did.
Which is where it's another Premier Inn. Very lovely one.
Ooh.
You know, we love our Premier Inns.
We do. We're not sponsored either.
They're just fantastic hotels, everything you need.
We're not opposed to it, though.
Right. There were times where we wish we had done the Premier, but we were like, oh, this hotel's cheaper. And it was like, maybe we should have done the Premier. Anyway, so we're in Bangor, and then we hop on a train, and then we get to the heart of Belfast.
Dun, dun, dun.
And it's an incredible city.
Incredible city. We were going to just do one video, and that wasn't going to happen.
There's just too much that we did.
I don't even know if we can fit it in two.
Yeah, there's going to definitely be, after this, at least another one or two. At least two.
Yeah, two's feeling like the number.
Two's feeling more like it.
But that feels like spoilers if we say what's in those videos.
Spoilers.
So let's talk about this video.
So, the Ulster Museum, if you will. So,
let's get off that first page.
Yeah.
So, we did a cartwheel when we walked in.
This museum, we can keep going as I speak, is both art and history kind of museum. Yeah, and it's got
the science piece too.
It does have the science piece.
You know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of Edinburgh.
A little bit.
And Cardiff. They both had museums
and there's a tinge of anger throughout the museum as well.
Does anybody recognize these, by the way?
So these
Game of Thrones nerds?
These are the literal pieces that was used
in the set.
In the
Game
set.
of Thrones. Right
apparently, did it film in Northern Ireland? Is that why they got their hands on it? We're not Game of Thrones people, although we are nerdy people. We're not Game of Thrones people, so we don't know much about it. We just thought they were really cool looking, and we're like, hey!
And that's actual from the movies. So, yeah, I think we can just leave this up here for a second.
And anybody who's really interested can
created by the Ulster Folk Museum's master basket maker. So, the answer is it was made by somebody connected to the museum.
There you go.
Okay?
All right.
So, there's another angle of it.
Yeah. So, anyway.
And you can even see them in the background.
It's peeking in the background, but we wanted to show the really cool glass works.
1,000 slides. So, I think I need to speed up.
Yeah. Of course, lots of
glass work. This led to a classroom. Obviously, there are no students there right now, but when they have field trips, they have special... So it's built into the museum. We like to talk about that kind of thing. Now let's talk about some artwork. That ceiling's not level, or was it me?
It was a mix. Anyway, a mixed bag of different kind of art from different time periods.
Yes.
Romantic, Renaissance, whatever. We got... You can keep going. We got a little bit... there was a lot. So many pictures. So here are some of the more clear ones that we were able to get. It was a very dark museum.
Very
in the sense
specialized
that
lighting. It wasn't really designed to take these kind of pictures. You need to experience it. Just go to Belfast. It's easier.
We were fiddling with our camera trying to get the best scenic look for the pictures. It just really wasn't working very well. These were the best.
No, these were great. Yeah. But then you can see how we would have had to take a separate picture just of the plate so you could see who painted them. So this is another exhibit.
Oh, yes. So they're the 1920 Roaring Twenties, anything goes. Of course, theater reference. So we had a good time with that.
Sure.
All the different costuming from that era. Very Gatsby-esque. So, yeah, really cool stuff.
And kind of transitioning here.
And then, of course, we have...
isn't that a nice painting?
Oh, yeah. Well, it's just different eras. Like I said, different era.
Very nice painting.
Trying to get as much as we could in this gigantic museum as in one little slideshow.
And the museum is set up in a... Oh, I love this. Because, so she's being painted by all of them.
Yes.
And so this snarky person who invented this painting also painted them. And you can see the mannequins in the background behind them. I love it. I love it so much.
This is a really good picture. We both really like this one. So...
See? I got the name.
Some historical reference, of course, for anybody who knows anything about Irish history. So a little bit there. So that was very important. A lot of their art was very much related to their culture and history.
What's his name again? who was all over the Dublin Museum? This looks like the same guy.
Yes.
Was it Yates? No.
It was Yates's brother or something like that.
Jack. Oh, I
Not
can't.
quite sure. But anyway, super cool artwork. And we always like to try to share our favorites. So there you go. Enjoy. If you can decipher it, great. Oh, yeah. This is part of the natural history part of the museum. And look at that pretty little magpie. Our favorite bird there. Kind of our signature bird. And
just
so,
a little bit of the science stuff.
Yeah.
This science museum, and I want to just say this as we move on, is a little different because there are parts of science museums that often get missed. Oceanography usually gets kind of, discarded and just a footnote unless it's a very oceanic city. But then this is chemistry.
Yes.
And chemistry is usually not at all included.
They had so much in the chemistry.
Check.
It was so cool.
So this is all the chemistry. But look at this. It's a periodic table.
There was basically, to kind of give you an idea, we walk into a gigantic room, like warehouse-size room, and there are these glass cases that kind of focus on one idea. So the other one was light, one was color, this was the universe, but they broke it down to so many other cool elements as well.
Right.
Obviously, you can't post every one of them because there were just so many, but this is just a handful of what they had that was just awesome.
One of the problems we have with science museums is that if I go into a museum that's about Renaissance art, I can enjoy it no matter what level of art I understand. But it feels like a lot of the science museums are very simplified. Once they get past maybe high school tops, they're done. But there's still a beauty to it. There's still something interesting. Have I seen it displayed like this? All of this? No. This, of all the museums, was the best chemistry displays.
Really, really cool. And they had, like,
and there's
physics.
More. Yeah.
They had, like, stuff on physics as well, invention, and
some of
innovation.
Yep.
So they had all of these categories
these kind of engineering
as well.
pieces as well.
It was really,
and the oceanography.
Really cool.
So, like, the science didn't feel like it was, if you understand the high school level, it's just pretty pictures. It was more than that.
And a lot of the natural
descriptions as well.
Yes, and a lot of the natural histories tend to be, but no, it's fine. Tends to be very much taxidermied animals, and that's what we get for our life sciences. But they kind of took it a step further, which was I thought really cool.
It was very well done.
Of course, we can't have a video without ancient
things
in it, ancient pieces. But no, we can move on to the angry part.
So hang on. Let's talk about current history. This is about COVID.
Yes.
And they had a special exhibit up. As we've wound through the museums, if you want to be really nerdy and look up here, there's the dragons again.
Dragons again, yeah.
So this talked about COVID and past communicable diseases.
It explained what a communicable disease was.
Yes.
Yeah.
So this was a cool project. I'm going to explain it in 30 seconds or less. Basically, they had kids blowing bubbles. In the bubbles was ink. And so each breath creates one of these rings. And it was just something they thought about during the pandemic, about how each of our breaths is kind of unique. And I've left it up here long enough, you can pause the video. But it really is an interesting way to articulate the importance of each breath.
And if you look at the description to the side, they actually have a whole description with George Floyd, and his, of course, famous last words was, "I can't breathe." So that was also
So there's
conjecture.
There's a whole lot of the importance of each breath, right? So. They're thinking about it in a time when people are being trampled and rights being ignored, and then there's something that's making it hard to breathe because of pandemic, right? Like, this is all kind of ties in. Art is a reflection of the time in which it is produced. All right.
So
that's the same exhibit, different angle. And here we go.
Yes.
We've gone to a whole bunch of museums without talking about it directly.
So, I'm not going to lie. When Daniel had first posed to me the idea of going to Northern Ireland, I was envisioning a hellscape from the 1990s. I am but my generation. And
something with the Cranberries.
Songs of the Cranberries and U2 playing in my mind. And he reassured me and showed me pictures and how Northern Ireland is doing great. I still had reservations when I stepped foot into Derry, but it had quickly disappeared, and it completely just out of my frame of mind once I had gotten to Belfast, and where I actually learned what the Troubles were, not our perspective as Americans or the English perspective, or even the collective Irish perspective, but this is Northern Ireland and exactly what they were going through. So I had a hard time during this exhibit.
She certainly did. So they have the timeline on the walls, and I love this. The history of Northern Ireland from the late 1960s onwards has been dominated by the civil and political conflict commonly referred to as the Troubles. The traumatic events of the years after 1968 touched almost everyone who lived here and many others from further afield. Inevitably, the interpretations of these events is contested in terms of their significance, meaning, and responsibility. While we have a shared past, we do not have a shared memory. That's so powerful.
And this is exactly what I was talking about. Actually going to Northern Ireland, talking to the younger generation. So we talked about Premier Inn and where we stayed. There was a young gal there that we had chatted up with.
Yep.
That was the young lady who checked us in. She checked us in early, by the way, which was very nice of her. We checked in like a good 4 hours early.
Yes.
But she had a very interesting perspective on the Troubles and everything like that, in which she said, this is something we learn when we go to the museum. It's for a very young generation, it's not something that they're what's the word I'm looking for? Entrenched with? It was it was a part of their past, but was never part of their
cultural
lives.
Past, right. It's been done so long that this isn't something she grew up with. Mm-hmm. It's a history that she just missed. And she's an adult.
Right.
Just to be clear, we were not talking to a kid. That's how long it's been. And here we were thinking, oh man.
Yeah. So it's very interesting to talk to the different people and to learn from these actual exhibits.
So clearly we're trying to talk to many different types of people here. They even here, this is when Kennedy was assassinated. So they've mixed in Second World War. Mm-hmm. They're putting in events about Ireland into the rest. I wish this TV wasn't on.
And now remember, they still went through all of these world events on top of their Troubles as well.
Yeah.
So, I mean, world events are still part of their history, so they included it. So, oh God.
Isn't it cool how I'm the silhouette here? So these are all the different perspectives of social media of the time, which was magazines and pamphlets, arguing the different sides. Mm-hmm. And so we have more of it. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of these notices. These are all audios from people who remember in the different perspectives and the different eras of it. So these are kind of the different frame points, right?
I believe this might be our last slide, but
I believe so.
It was just there were so many of these walls that it has like the timeline on it.
This was a good one.
This was a good one. It was not in the rays of the sun, as you can see if you try to go around the corner. It's all
we're back in the sunny,
sun washed and everything like that. So this was just a good idea of how they had displayed their timeline. I thought it was really cool.
It was very, very well done. I think everyone should go there.
Yes.
So far, everything has been amazing about Belfast and Derry.
And every preconceived notion that I had, being from Hawaii and being American, was kind of struck down.
Yeah.
So that's a little bit of a brief modern history of Northern Ireland and Belfast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But till next time?
Till next
do you have
time,
some other thoughts?
We do have more Belfast to share, but
absolutely
a little lighter for next time.
This is heavy, but it's a beautiful museum. And anyway, till next time, everyone.